Hey guys, welcome back to Words at War. My name is Jorge Guerra.
I'm Sergio Guerra.
And today we're going to be reviewing Insidious Chapter 2. Ooh, scary. So, October's right around the corner. And, Halloween movies are starting to come out. So
Halloween.
So Insidious is probably like the first, well, not the first one, but it's one of the ones that are starting to come out. If you've seen Insidious Part 1, pretty much, long story short, is this kid's like a traveler. He gets possessed by like this entity, or this entity's trying to possess him, and his dad has to go after him, and then like he gets taken over. So this is a continuation of what happens right after that other movie, Part 1 finished. So Insidious 2, honestly, I thought it was actually pretty good. I mean, it's actually one of the best like comedies I've seen so far. Oh wait, was it a comedy? Yeah. So this was supposed to be a scary movie, and there was people in the theater laughing. I swear I heard more laughs than screaming in this movie. So I mean, for me, honestly, especially growing up with scary movies and seeing it, I wasn't a big fan. The few things that I thought could have been creepy, they completely glossed over. Like it just wasn't. There was no point in that movie that I felt creeped out. And I think a lot of the things that were done, and in Part 1 there were some parts that were a little creepy, that I think that could have still been better, but I still think they were a little creepy. But in this one, it felt just like every single scare they went for was just a boo, like la 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 boo, la 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 boo, and it was just that same thing over and over and over. And story wasn't interesting. I wasn't a big fan. What did you think?
Well, I pretty much agree. I liked Part 1. I thought it was entertaining. It definitely wasn't also, like probably, well, it won't go down as one of the most memorable horror movies ever. So I was fine with just watching it for the type or the other kinds of types of horror movies that have been coming out lately. I thought Insidious, the first one, was pretty good. So going into Insidious 2, maybe I had the bar set a little too high on it, I was thinking that maybe they would do a little bit more of what they did in Part 1, but they ended up doing a lot more of it, like literally like a lot. Like it's like the first 10 minutes is pretty much just a recap of things that happened in the first one, and then the rest of the movie, you can't even fucking tell if you're watching Part 1 or Part 2. This movie was trippy, I'll give you that, and if you're high or something, you might you might go crazy. But if you're just sober like we were, you know what? It's not that great. The scares weren't there. I think one of the other things that made it kind of cool in the first one was you had this, even though it made little sense, you had this barrage of different spirits or something that you kept seeing throughout it. This one was more narrowed down, and it sucks because it could have actually been a source of more scares and more creepiness, and then they just kind of leave it for a very like otherworldly type story between like the family and this traveling into other dimensions, and it's like the story about the family and what they do and how they can see these things and all that becomes more important. And you're kind of just, at least for me, I kept going back in and out of the movie because sometimes it felt like you're watching a scary movie and very little. Sometimes it felt like you're watching a comedy because they're putting all this comedy and things that were just not necessarily meant to be a comedy, but the way they were done was like very comedic, so more people laughed at it than really took it serious. And then sometimes it feels like you're watching like ghost hunters with really old people. Like that's what it feels like, So I think the story was just kind of all over the place. Once you see it, I don't want to give out any spoilers, but once you see it, all I kept thinking about was that this was a creepier version of Back to the Future. So once you see it, let me know if you think that that's true. But again, without rambling too much, I wouldn't go see it again. It's definitely, I don't think it's going to be in my memory very soon. If you wanted to go watch Insidious 2, I'd say save your money, wait for DVD, watch the first one again. You'll probably enjoy it more. You know, so I think that's it. I mean, what would you think as far as the rating for it or something?
Well, I mean, as far as rating, I'm probably gonna go with like I'm gonna go with 6. Yeah, but just because it's, one of the things that I was like really was that you had a pretty decent, like the demon part 1. I thought I didn't mind that, and then you take like this thing that they're kind of going against in this one wasn't that great. So yeah, I go with a 6 just because I wouldn't watch it again. I'm not gonna pick it up next Halloween. I'm not gonna be like, "Ooh, let's watch Insidious 2." No, it's not gonna happen unless I want to watch comedy. And then just wasn't my bag. What did you think?
Yeah, for practically the same reasons. I think most people trying to go into a scary movie or a horror movie are trying to get scared, and of course didn't scare me like at all. I think most of the people in the theater were waiting to be scared, and there's a couple of little boo scares here and there that might have actually jolted a couple of people. But there was no creepy factor. There was very little scariness at all. It's so hard to even call this a horror movie just because there's no horror in it. It was just very it's definitely a fan film. I mean, if you like the first Insidious, you might like this one. And if you like just ghosts and stuff like that, you'll probably like it. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. But I've seen so many other movies that are better at this kind of thing. So, as far as a ride or whatever, I'd give it a 6.5 because it's really, the more and more I talk about it, the less and less I like it. And I have to say just real quick though, that I thought that the acting in this one was actually better than in part 1. And it's something that we were talking about before. Like sometimes in part 1 it seemed like the actors were just kind of phoning it in. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't their fault, maybe it was direction or something like that, because those two actors, the main actors are actually good. Yeah, I've seen them do great work. So maybe it wasn't that. This one I thought the acting was very well done. The scenes, matched emotionally, like the resonance that they should have matched. It's just that it's so haphazard and it goes back and forth so much that I don't think it builds a good enough picture. So, anyways, that's about it for me, I guess, and for George too. Yeah.
So just as always, click and subscribe if you'd be so kind. Thank you again so much for watching. If you want to watch a good scare movie, make sure you dig into your old files because this wasn't that great. But again, once again, Jorge Guerra,
Sergio Guerra,
and y'all have a good one. Bye.